Crypto has a dark and ominous past, and its lack of regulation is causing this. I've got a massive warning for you, particularly when we look at some of our favorite projects right now that could be in the firing line for a future mass manipulation. If you're not prepared for this, then you could potentially end up on the rocks. However, if you're able to make it through the next 10 minutes or so of this video, you will be prepared for every eventuality that comes up in the future. So hit the like button. It's just going to be a good one. Now guys, I'm going to show you this picture, and it's all about confirmation bias. I might tell you some things that if you're a little moon boy for one of these projects or another, that might make you a little bit uncomfortable. However, today I've got the unenviable task of sitting in the unpleasant truth camp, which of course means that today there's going to be a lot of angry young men warming up their keyboard fingers to write nasty comments about me down below. But don't worry guys, it all drives the YouTube algorithm, and I'm happy to have any comments that you've got. But don't worry, I know deep down everyone's kind and nice. I've just said mean things about their cryptocurrencies. Well, what is this all about? Well, first of all, what triggered me was this from Virtual Bacon over on Twitter, where I'm spending a lot more time right now. And there's a coin right now that's getting a lot of attention because it's been performing extremely well, and that is Casper. And he said this: Casper has just been launched on Binance Futures. Okay, that means you can use leverage trading, perpetual futures, but you can't buy it and sell it on spot right now over on Binance. And he said that this was something we should be cautious of. So why does he think we should be cautious of this? Well, because of this, guys. Now, market manipulation has been a term that's been used for years across stock markets. Now, if you go and look at this particularly lengthy article, you will understand that there's a variety of different ways in which markets have traditionally been manipulated. Things such as bear raids, wash trading, fake news, spoofing, pump and dumps, churning, front-running, insider information, cornering the market, and so on. And a lot of these things are considered to be illegal, things that we're not allowed to do, or at least the big banks and institutions are not allowed to do. However, if you paid attention to the GameStop fiasco a few years ago, you will know that market manipulation still exists. Big money will always try to extort the little man in order to make massive gains, no matter what the morals are behind all this. Well, what happened in GameStop? Big Wall Street institutions, hedge funds, etc., all collaborated to try and short a stock of GameStop. GameStop being basically a video game store that sold other bits and pieces. However, a few smart Redditors out there caught wind of what was going on. So as the hedge funds out there were trying to post all this kind of news, negative news about GameStop, while all shorting aggressively the market, they started to cause the price to go down. So the Redditors found out about this, they created a campaign, and they got everyone to start buying GameStop. This forced the market back up. So if you are in a short trade and betting on it going down and the market's going against you, then you get in a world of pain. It got to a point where many of these companies started to almost go bust. Robinhood, where lots of these trades were taking place, then ceased trading GameStop under pressure from Wall Streeters. And then Robinhood got pressure from Elon Musk being like, what are you doing? And then they opened up GameStop again. It forced it up. A load of hedge funds went bust, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Market manipulation is massive. It still exists. And that's in a regulated environment. Crypto is even more seedy and dangerous. And here, before I talk about the next thing, just get you back on track, wind in those emotions and stuff like that, because I know, you're getting a bit amped up on a Sunday morning or whenever it is. Comforting lies, unpleasant truths. Also, I just want to interject with this. Go and give me a follow over on Twitter, guys. It's started to build really nicely. What we're doing every day right now is bringing you loads of new information. If you've not got much money, here's where you can go and make some money for literally like $2.50. Here you can apply for the StarkNet airdrop. There's a thread here which talks you through the whole process of how you can go away and do that. Super simple and easy to follow. As well as that, I've done various different breakdowns on Casper, on ICP, and loads of other great stuff there. Make sure you give me a follow, guys, because there's so much information you're missing out on. That's just linked down below. It's free, and there'll also be some various deals and stuff going on over there as we carry on. Now let's get on with the video. This is a chart for ICP, Internet Computer. And no, guys, it's not a paid shill, okay? This is not really to do with ICP. This video is not really going to tell you much about ICP other than this. Many people are now shouting ICP is a scam, ICP is bullshit, okay? There's a reason for it. This is what happened to ICP when it launched. It did this. Actually, it launched lower, but it went all the way up to around sort of $500, $600, which was an insanely large market cap for this coin, and it was like a top 3 or 4 coin for like a day. But if you delve into this article over on medium.com, which I can leave a link down below, we've been fooled. How FTX tried to destroy Internet Computer. Now, FTX, interesting one. What do we know about FTX? Well, headed up by Sam Bankman-Fried, who is not necessarily the most moral bloke kicking around. Now, it's come out in various trials and things like that he's been going through recently, a lot of the stuff that FTX was doing. Now, FTX back in the day was heavily associated with Solana. Alameda Research, backed by FTX, was one of the original venture capital funds driving Solana. Solana, as we know, a very successful layer 1 project that had a really good run in the last bull market. However, FTX saw ICP as a potential threat to Solana going forward. Well, what did they do? They tried to put a stop to it before it even started. FTX did this by launching a perpetual futures of ICP days before the mainnet was officially set to launch, and before futures launched before spot. And now I'm not telling you this is going to happen to Casper necessarily. This is just an example of things that have happened in the past, and if suddenly you see some crazy, wacky price action going on, this is maybe why. With these perpetual futures, FTX was able to control the price and pumped the price to obscene levels, reaching the $400 to $500 range, which made ICP jump to number 3, in fact, in terms of market cap. This then brought a ton of attention, as you would expect, into ICP. It caused loads of people to dive in and buy ICP because they're like, well, this is going to the moon, I want to go with it, I want to make loads of money. And then guess what happened? FTX flipped the switch and began tanking the price of ICP. So they started closing out all of their different futures contracts. Okay, so they basically 100% controlled the price all the way up. And then guess what happened? It tanked from about $500, about 95% in a single day. So it did this, bang, bang. What's the response of the entire market? Well, everyone that runs in and assumes that ICP must be a scam. It can't be taken seriously. So literally now, 2 or 3 years later, ICP, Internet Computer, which is a phenomenal and very interesting project that's definitely worth paying attention to, gets little to no press because many people out there are assuming it's a scam. YouTubers, etc. don't really want to talk about it because everyone else is just going to charge in and call them idiots and whatever else. But that's fine. My skin's a little thicker, so I'm prepared to do it because I can handle the abuse of a number of like 15, 16-year-olds who are, getting mean in the comments. Now, there's a lot of things that we need to be aware of when it comes to this. False beliefs, cognitive drivers, socio-affective drivers, etc. Now, one of the things I want you to kind of overcome in this video and grow with me on this kind of journey through crypto is to understand how we are easily manipulated because of the way that we think. Our psychology controls about 99% of whether or not we're going to be successful in crypto or not. Not really the projects we buy, okay? It's how easy we're going to be manipulated, how easily we get locked in projects at the top and just keep never selling because we're going to keep going up and diamond hands and all that crap, okay? All of it controlled by cognitive drivers, okay? Various failures in sort of seeing what's going on and supporting other bits and pieces. And that, I know, probably sounded like what a bunch of random words shoved in together. But that's fine, okay? What I'm going to explain to you is this. When we see certain things happen on charts, we have kind of our own hidden narrative about what's really going on behind the scenes. So when a chart goes down like this, we're like, oh, it must be a scam, it's complete BS, blah, blah, blah. And that's what everyone was saying about Solana when it did this before, okay? It went from a position of overvalued to a position of undervalued, and then anyone who could sort of separate themselves from the emotions managed to make the most of this upside here. So basically, looking at ICP, actually the chart isn't that bad because this really should never have happened. This is complete SBF stuff, okay? This is him not being a good bloke. And if it wasn't for that, then this chart probably might look a little bit more favorable for ICP. But actually, I say that, the chart actually looks very favorable because now we're kind of underpriced at a position where many people think it's a scam, but actually it's not. Just go and have a look at their socials, go look at the website and actually dig in another little bit about it. Well, as we look at Casper, it's been kind of having a phenomenal year. I think you'll agree. This chart basically just shows people down here making loads and loads of money. And what we're seeing is a lot more people talking about it. YouTubers are really free and easy to talk about this project because they're just going to get a lot of love, a lot of support in the comments because it makes them feel good. They're going to keep talking about it, and that's fine. At the moment, Casper's not evidently being that manipulated and all this stuff. But one thing that's kind of the narrative, the story behind what Casper's really great about, and I see a lot of people writing in the comments why Casper's better than whatever else, because it was fair launch, it doesn't really have venture capital backing and all that good stuff. But it's just now found itself in a position on an exchange where it's now open to huge manipulation. It doesn't really matter. What I would be paying attention to is potentially very rapid, big moves in Casper, whether that be to the upside or to the downside. There's clearly not a huge amount of new people arriving back into the crypto space right yet. I still think we're very, very early. Still lots of people who were in the crypto market before and not yet back in the space. And therefore, we don't really still have the narrative that's suddenly going to explode a price. of this coin, of any coin out there. So we could potentially see this continue to kind of creep up like that. Maybe you have pullback. But if we suddenly wake up one day and you see the price down here, or you see the price up here, that's where we probably need to pay attention. If I suddenly see the price down here, you better believe that I'm going to be buying into this, because that would be a manipulated dip coming out of Binance. On the flip side of things, if you suddenly see it do something like this and go absolutely crazy, the chart's a bit weird, guys. I'm not saying it's going to go to $70 anytime soon. If it suddenly like pumps up and then it quickly rises to like $1, like very, very fast, because I'm telling you, is to take profits and not to dive in and think you're going to miss the chart. Because if you're smart, you'll know that that massive price increase is just coming from market manipulation, and maybe you can make the most of it by taking profits and jumping out for a little bit of time. Because if something like this happens, and I'm not saying it's gonna happen, because maybe Binance are like slightly better blokes than SBF, but I'm not too sure, to be honest. But it's just worth being ready for every eventuality. Whether you think this coin or that coin's the best coin in the world, everything is open to manipulation, particularly in crypto. It's unregulated. Manipulation happens all the time in regulated markets. So in crypto, it's pretty dark and pretty shady, the stuff that's going to get pulled. Now, as you look into Casper on a shorter time frame, it's still really pushing very aggressively. Personally, I won't be looking to bet against it anytime now, but eventually it's going to run into a position where you could see some form of a pullback. Once you get into blue sky breakout territory where we find pullback opportunities. Now, if you were in the last bull market and you experienced like lots of blue sky breakouts, one fairly standard tool you can use, which is the Fibonacci retracement tool. You can take from this recent swing low down here, move it up to that next swing high, which was back on the 10th of November, before that little bit of a pullback, and you'll see that we get the 1.618 golden ratio extension. That often will show us that we get some resistance, and you can see that we came out through, found a bit of resistance, and we're starting to sort of stall a bit here. That doesn't mean that it can't go higher, but typically I don't see often in the past anything kind of going up towards the 2.618 without having some form of kind of like sustained kind of pullback for a little bit of quiet time before a continued rally. I do think Casper still looks very strong for a good year ahead of us, but just on the shorter time frame, maybe just something pause and have a wait for. There's going to be other coins that are going to be on the move soon that might not perform as well, but you know, you don't want to be involved in this, but that's what we're waiting for. Be nice and patient. Now guys, since we're on the topic, FTX did some really shady stuff during the last bull market, and I know many people out there who lost thousands and thousands of dollars when FTX went under. If you don't want to be one of those people, do not leave large sums of cash on any particular exchange. No matter how solid and how good it might sound, there's lots of shady stuff going on in crypto all the time, and the only way to protect yourself from that is by owning a hardware wallet. I use this Decent wallet fingerprint scanner for access. Also, I can use it with my iPhone or Android device, which means I don't need to have a laptop, and I'm also very mobile, so there's never an excuse for not being able to keep and secure funds over on my hardware wallet. It stores over 3,000 different tokens. If you're unsure what you can store, go to the link down below in the description, which is a discount link, and you'll be able to search the different coins here by clicking on supported coins. As well as that, they're doing an Algorand airdrop in the next few days, so if you want to qualify for that, make sure you get yourself a hardware wallet before that time is out. Also has a really nice, easy to use interface that's on your phone, and if you're non-technical guys, it's super easy to set up. Even someone like me who's never read a manual in his life has managed to use it. Also, get yourself in my free Telegram, link down below in the description. So hopefully now we're all a little bit more prepared for the dark and seedy stuff in the wonderful world of crypto. Hit that like button, subscribe, see you tomorrow. Bye bye.